Happy anniversary, everybody! Episode number 48. We're getting tactical on this one. Drop that beat. Easy.
Man.
Happy anniversary!
Coming in hot.
Oh, yeah. This episode, we're not playing around. And with the 1 year, that's a quick year. Fast year.
It was a fast year. I totally agree with that.
That's, this is episode 48, so full episode 48 in a year. That's not bad. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Ken? Consistency.
What? Oh.
That's what
Oh,
it is.
yeah. Spoken by the king of consistency himself.
Exactly.
But you know what? Consistent people get to celebrate a lot of anniversaries, so.
Exactly.
That's true.
Ooh, quotable.
Save that one for the next mindset episode.
Consistent people gets to celebrate a lot of anniversaries.
Yeah.
So it's actually not boring. It actually is full of celebration if you are consistent.
Yeah.
So,
If
man,
you're consistent and if you're willing to celebrate.
you have to
Because
celebrate.
Not
You have to
everybody
celebrate.
does. You know, a lot of people are just like, oh, I accomplished this, or I got there, I crossed the finish line.
You
and
have to.
Now I'm just looking at the next thing, and they don't stop and celebrate. But we do, so that's how we do in the Seller Club, guys.
Yeah, and also before we move on and talk about things, if you're listening to this today, Monday, on Tuesday, let me get the date. On Tuesday, October 15th, check back with our Instagram page because we're dropping something really cool. I think it's never been done before, and we're giving stuff away. So check back and follow us at the Seller Club Podcast on Instagram for that cool giveaway and that cool announcement.
Wait, for
And
free?
For
Yeah.
free.
Free.
Totally free. And fun fact, that is actually my wedding anniversary.
Oh.
So we're just going from one anniversary to the next.
Oh, good job for being consistent.
That's right. Very consistently married for 13 years.
Wow, congratulations for that.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Thanks.
But yeah, I mean, I think that ends our celebration.
That concludes the celebration.
That concludes the celebration because again, it's 1 year, and I would say the best is yet to come, and 1 year has just been practice. I mean, for me, practice editing, practice, trying to do mobile podcasts. This year has been a lot of firsts and a lot of practice.
So many, yeah.
So moving forward, we're just gonna get better. We're gonna get better.
Yep. So, all right, great show, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Wow.
We just wanted to celebrate.
We'll keep celebrating on Tuesday, though. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait for
Exactly.
everybody to see what's going on there. So
So, what are we talking about today again? Oh, tactical.
yes,
Yeah,
we're getting
yeah.
so tactical because
Hey,
it's
and-
Q4, guys.
Yeah, and also happy Q4. I think
Yeah.
I don't know if we told that in the last episode, but Q4 is here.
Yeah.
Sales are supposed to ramp up, and
I'll take it.
If it's not, then we have prepared a list to assist in ramping up those sales. And there's people that do last minute preparation, and I think I'm part of that. And if you're that kind of person, there's still time, because again, I truly think a lot of Q4 shopping happens on Black Friday, so we got time.
They still got some
There
time.
is, yeah. There's a lot of time left in the quarter, and there's a lot you can do, even like along the way. Like, it's never too late to get things in better shape for yourself, and honestly to anticipate and expect that pickup in sales. Like, you got to be ready for that too, and be organized and kind of have your head on straight to handle it when it happens.
Yep.
So
we're gonna talk a lot about things because part of that will be having to forecast or trying to get ahead for next year, or even trying to clear out some inventory. So Anna, why don't you tackle the first one?
I will. I love talking about inventory management. If you've been around here with us at all, you probably already know that. So it should be no surprise to you that that's what I kind of want to start with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is interesting. I personally have not taken the time to do this most Q4s, and I do actually want to do this one myself this year, just because I do kind of sell one-off things.
Mm-hmm.
But the first thing that I want to encourage everybody to do is to kind of take stock of your stock. So review your current inventory, like kind of look through this year already, like what's been a fast mover, what's been a slow mover, and really just kind of like make an assessment and have that information more at the front of your brain based on, you know, data you can actually see, so that whenever there are decisions to be made, like later on in this checklist, basically you'll have that information top of mind. Like, okay, what's been working really well with my inventory this year? What's been selling well? What's not been selling well? How does that stack up to kind of my expectations when at the time that I source those items? I think all of that is just a good thing to generally go and take stock of. So that's the first thing. Do you guys
Glen,
do that?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask Glenn about his, this year's a lot different for him compared to the previous year. What's your kind of like game plan or strategy for this year as far as like, you know, assessing your inventory, or how would you, you know, like, because you're live selling heavy and compared to listing on eBay, what's your game plan for that one? You're going to go live every day?
Have you gotten to 1,000 jerseys yet?
I know. I haven't gotten to 1,000 jerseys yet. I actually slowed down on the listing part. Like, it started to kind of take its toll. I was like, every day I was getting these listings done, and then I saw myself doing like 10 a day, 5 a day, 3 a day, and I'm like, and I was also because of how many other things I guess that was going on, and even with the business side, I felt like I was even slowing down catching, or I guess like I was still trying to catch up the whatnot side the night before, and that wasn't really happening before, and I caught myself kind of like getting slower. I think I was just kind of like,
and a lot of things,
man.
right?
Yeah,
getting worn down.
Everything. So in this case, definitely catch up on the listings. I still want to keep it consistent, at least 3 a day, but I really don't see myself pushing further as far as like getting more live shows in. I think just keeping it the same. I guess also I just don't want to like have the same items running over and over again, and just and then seeing them go lower and lower each time.
Yeah.
So keeping it kind of unique still. Like my Tuesday show is like snapbacks that are like my newest stuff that comes in, so people know, hey, it might be stuff I've never seen before.
Right.
Things that we're just starting off to sell. Might be interested in, and then I'm trying to do like clearance shows. I have been for the last 3 weeks, like on Thursdays. So older hats that
That's a good
used
strategy.
to be new are not new, and they've been sitting there for a bit.
Right.
You know,
Used to be new.
Yeah, exactly. I've been clearancing those out. So I've been finding some different ways to kind of like keep the wheels turning on some inventory.
Yeah. So like your week to week process, you're basically always assessing what's moving and what's not moving and adjusting as you go. And you have those different shows as different outlets for like where they fit. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, also too, I mean, you know, when you talk about assessing your inventory, I think a lot of it has to do with seasonality, right? And when we talk like faster movers or slower movers, I think one of the things that we have invested a lot as far as inventory this year are actually athletic shorts or casual shorts and stuff like that. So what we actually have done is we have repriced aggressively, because I feel like this is like the last month that we could sell a lot of that before it starts getting cold and people are not thinking about that. So I think, you know, if you want to squeeze a little bit more, you know, revenue or sales out of summer items right now, you know, there's still a bunch of states that are still hot, kind of like where Glen's at. They still would rock shorts or stuff like that, or on the other side, start prepping for the seasonality of getting winter stuff, right? Like jackets, hoodies, and stuff like that. So our current listings have been those items. So pants, sweatpants, and jackets, you know, to to get ready for Q4 as far as stock level. And then besides, when you're thinking about management, inventory management, we do still carry inventory with shipping supplies. So I think that's one of the things that we have to think about. And if you guys use the free USPS priority mail stuff, you better order it now. So that's one of the things that we actually have done in the previous years. By October, we actually start projecting how many shipments we do per day, and then we just triple that for November and December, and then just order it and just leave it in the garage. That way, we'll never run out of boxes, because the last thing you want to do is, those are free, right? You better take advantage of those. And I hate paying for boxes when I could get them for free.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, I mean, I barely use any priority mail stuff anymore at all ever since Ground Advantage.
Because of Ground Advantage.
Yeah. But there are other ways to get free shipping supplies, and you need to be doing the same thing right now using your eBay coupon. If you sell on eBay and you have a store subscription, you have eBay branded shipping supplies voucher to use. So if you haven't done that yet for Q4, you get one every quarter. And then also, like, I do partner with a local retailer and pick up free shipping supplies from them every week. And it's just the stuff that, like, for me, it's a great source for kind of those mid-sized boxes, and also fill, like paper, like packing paper, packing peanuts, bubble wrap, stuff like that. So those are the things that I would tend to always have to spend money on before. And I like barely ever have to buy shipping supplies now. Like, once in a blue moon, I might have to restock if I'm just not getting, I don't happen to be getting enough from that source. But, if you haven't made inroads with a local retailer, especially if you sell a lot of random different stuff like me, like, oh my gosh, I can't recommend it enough. And, you can be storing that stuff up too, and organize it as it comes in, and just keep it, stacked up somewhere for Q4, because hopefully you're going to need it. So that's definitely one that was on my list, just kind of restocking the shipping supplies and having that accelerated volume in mind. Do you guys do that with your actual inventory? Do you have like buffer stock, or like do you list in such a way that you have extras of like things you have multiple quantities of? Like, how, that's something some people do to make sure in case they need an extra one, or in case they're selling out really fast. Like,
I think I copied this off of Glen's strategy. Remember when you have a lot of quantity, it's part of our kind of like trying to drive scarcity, kind of like making the buyer feel like, okay, it's gonna run out soon. As part of that buffer strategy, we use the custom SKU, and we put how many more quantities we have in backstock. But I don't intentionally shop for buffers. It's just a matter of like, okay, if I buy 10, I only list 3, the 7 will be just backstock. Have you done anything different, Glen, for that?
I've kept it the same. Have 2 or 3.
Shocker, he's kept it the same.
Kept the same.
Mr. Consistency.
And then we'll have the ones in the back ready to go in case they need to be, if they do sell out quick.
In case they fly off the shelf, right?
Yeah, right. Just in case. But definitely don't want to list all 10, which we have done that before. And it ended up just kind of sitting there with like 27 watchers.
Yeah, people be like, hey, it's, how much would you take for all 10? And then just give you $10 for all 10. They just start like, kind of like vultures.
And there's no rush for them to buy it since they know you have a ton. So,
I mean, unless it's an iPad again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Or like a new Travis Scott shoe.
I should have put that on this checklist. Go find a truckload of iPads to sell.
Yeah.
Our favorite
Travis
thing.
Scott's.
Yeah, or the newest Travis Scott's. It's crazy. They still fly off the shelf. So keeping in the own inventory management, we talked about our inventory, we talked about our shipping supplies, we talked about just backstock buffers and stuff like that. I think it's a good practice to actually do a cleanup, refresh, or re-strategize for our shipping or processing station. Totally. I think one of the things that we don't actually feel, or we sometimes we just don't realize it, that there's way more rush during Q4. And then if you have a small table out, I think it'd be perfect time to change it with a big table. One of the things that we actually do consistently, especially during this time of the year, is I start putting out a lot of the consumables out of their boxes, basically like tapes, labels, inks, what do you call that? The paper label, the Rolo. What do you call that?
Like thermal labels.
Thermal labels.
Yeah.
I actually put it out intentionally. That way I see it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is open that box of tape and then there's only one or there's none. Because you see a box of tape there, you always assume like, oh, I have
It's
24
full.
rolls in there, right? And then you pull it out and it's empty. So I think that's one of the things that I could highly advise everybody to put everything out. That way it's visual. It's like, okay, I still have 8 or 10.
Yeah.
So I encourage that. Any of you guys have any tips on those?
I do the same thing. I have the demo labels, like they're back there like stacked, because I agree, when I see it there, then I know, hey man, we gotta order these now.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that you said that, I do have to order tape because I only have like 3 rolls right here.
Oh,
So,
Glenn's gonna take a brief intermission to go order.
Yeah,
Order tape.
that'll last you
Labels
2
and
weeks.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Dino labels are only like $250, right? The rolls
Yeah.
are only $250.
Yeah.
Actually, hack, if you switch to Rolo, you can buy 1,000 folded labels.
Yeah.
So it'll take you some time.
It'll just take a
Yeah.
lot more space up. But
No, they're actually more compact than the rolls. I don't know how.
yeah, I
Because
don't
they're
know.
folded.
I don't know if I believe that because they have to be outside of the printer.
That's true. Right, it's not their inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I actually do is I stack it on like a priority box, and then they're just long and
They're
just
like
deep,
level,
so.
kind of.
Yeah, they're just leveled. I mean, you've seen my setup, so
Yeah.
I think those are cool. Or maybe you put some thank you cards or note cards or something like that. Make sure those are ready to roll as well.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, usually I have high hopes that, October 1st, my sales are going to go through the roof, but that never really happens. It's usually
have time,
it's a little gradual. Like, the very beginning of Q4, like, right now is pretty average, I would say. But that is really, like, hopefully, right, the calm before the storm. And
Right.
historically, that's how it is. So that's a good time, too, if you just haven't kind of zoomed out, stepped back, looked at your processes, looked at the physical layout of your inventory storage or your shipping station or both. Like, now's the time to, fix that annoying thing that costs you 30 seconds every time you go pull inventory, right? Like audit your process next time you're shipping when it's not super busy. Because maybe you just need to like swap the order around of a couple of shelves or something, and it will be so worth it and so less frustrating when you're shipping out a bunch of stuff at once.
Yeah, right now we're labeling all the bins, especially when you use like black bins, because we use black bins that you don't know what's inside.
Yeah.
The time you have to open it and double check what's inside
Yes.
and find that one, that's really annoying.
It's so annoying, yeah. So I use clear bins.
Yeah. So I have
Your
racks
bins are way
now.
bigger than my bins. So.
Yeah, I have racks now that I don't have to restack them. I don't know if Glen has have racks now, because the last time he had to stack them 10 high or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, I do have the racks now in the storage,
Okay.
so
that's
it has
good.
been easier. I think my only problem is organization.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're there.
Other than that,
They're
it's
there.
fine.
Yeah, they're being
but
used.
take the time to do that for your inventory and your shipping station. And also, like, this is always a recommendation of mine. Like, I can totally become the queen of clutter and trinkets if I am not careful. And so it's also a good time to kind of strip your shipping station down to the bare bones of what you actually need. Get rid of all the other stuff that's accumulated there.
Yeah.
Just the basics, guys. That will help you out so much.
And then talking about the next step, so we talked about inventory management, auditing what you have, trying to polish your process. We talk about inventory, so I guess this is where we talk about sourcing strategies. What are the ways that, because Q4, I see Q4 as an opportunity to buy as well, not just sell. Also because you're gonna have a better cash flow in Q4, so you gotta start thinking of can you reinvest this cash flow that you're getting instead of just letting it sit. So one of the things that one of my tips that I'm gonna give is actually trying to buy past season or out of season items. So because it's heading to winter, everybody tries to dump their summer collection and basically warm gears or apparels, because everybody's looking for hoodies. They clearance those a lot, so those are kind of like one of the cool and fun ways to do, if you actually like the sourcing part of the business, to actually find some really good deals for this. Good sourcing for flip-flops, good sourcing for beach wear, for all those athletic,
My
items.
first retail arb experiment was with a bunch of shorts in November. So
Yeah, it was freezing. So I remember those.
Nobody wanted to wear
On
shorts.
ice. On ice. Me on ice, on my back, at the bottom of Anna's steps. I remember that. Glenn,
Poor
anything?
Ken.
Any tips on product sourcing? Do you follow trends, or do you go after?
No, Glenn
different
sets the
hypes?
trends. I don't know what you're
He's a trend.
Here's the problem with selling sports stuff. So I found myself watching baseball while shipping. I can't stand
Because you gotta keep
baseball.
up.
I do have to keep up. Like, I'm like,
no.
okay, who's winning the series? And even on Whatnot, people are like, oh man, Glenn, who do you got?
It's reluctantly
Royals
watching
against
baseball.
the Yankees. And I'm like,
Hysterical.
Yankees. Yeah.
Just be so confident on one team.
I know, right? But the problem is that when they do win, I have to have that item,
Ready.
like that team
Yeah.
in stock, ready to go. And sometimes they're asking me like, "Hey, what happened to the Yankees hats, the Dodgers hats?" And that's what
I sold them for $1 yesterday.
Right?
You're
I
basically
should've
just
waited.
like, tell them to play better and maybe I'll care.
Exactly. And I have a
That's
ton
amazing.
of like Dodgers right now, and Dodgers they're like one game of losing. Like they almost, if they would have lost yesterday, they would have been done. And I'm
man.
like, oh man, this can't happen. And I'm
Hey.
like, please win the next one, because
You should have text Shohei.
I should. Hey,
Yeah, that's like, hey,
go and
Shohei,
get that
like,
win, because I need to sell these hats.
So do people, I want you to hypothesize about this, Glenn.
Okay.
Are people buying stuff bandwagoning with who's doing well, or are they buying stuff to like help channel the good luck that their team needs when they've got like one foot in the grave already? Like how are they doing? How are they wearing these hats?
Oh yeah, they're jumping on big time.
Okay. It's just all
yeah.
whoever's doing good and that's
Exactly.
it. Okay.
Another
got
team
it.
is like Washington Commanders.
Mm.
They are winning a lot right now, and I remember getting some stuff dirt cheap. Nobody wanted them. They start winning. Now I have nothing left. Like they're all gone.
I think they're undefeated, right? Or
I think
they only lost once.
4-1. Yeah, they're 4-1.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a team, you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Never
yeah, it
heard
was
of
the-
them.
It was the Redskins before,
Yeah.
right? And then they changed their name to
Oh,
the
that's
Washington
why.
football
I just
team.
didn't know their
to the
name.
Washington
That makes
football
sense.
team, and then now the Commanders.
Commanders.
It's like rare that I've like literally not heard of the team. So now
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Like, what is this?
because that is-
Commanders.
That's
So,
true.
As far as trends go, yes, I am kind of like
sports trends,
yeah,
right?
sports
you have
trends
to,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Because the jerseys, and when I'm sourcing that, current players, current teams, what are they doing? Trying to keep up with that. So definitely the trends and getting into holiday season. I mean, whatever perfect gifts you can find for that person that's jumping on the wagon, then get it for them.
Yeah, because like their friends start seeing them post more about
Yeah.
Washington. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Where'd
you're
you get that
getting a
hat?
jersey.
Yeah,
You're getting a hat.
exactly. So definitely do the trends. If you want to go, I guess, going through the data and seeing what's going on Q4 wise, it is tough because we also know the 90 days checking on eBay and things like that. We also know if it gets cold, and we're not really gonna see all the data with jackets,
Yeah, because
yet.
it's been hot the last 30 days.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the
So
last 90. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is tough, but I would still agree with Ken, which is like you're trying to go for the lowest possible cost of goods for its value,
Yeah.
For Q4, regardless of what it is when it comes to like clothing.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like the bigger the spread between how the percentage off that it is, right?
Off, yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, if this is like a
90
really
off,
high
90%
retail,
off. Yeah, 90%
you kind
off,
of can't lose
like,
with 90% off. Yeah.
And one of the things that I actually have tested throughout the years since probably 2019, that New Year's resolution is real.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, like, I didn't believe it until I really bought a bunch of like free runs, Nike, like just Nike. They're not even performance running. They're just like running shoe looking shoes.
Yeah.
Nike frees, and like I was buying them for like $19, $14, and then they just fly off the shelf for $60 to $80.
Wow.
During January. So just looking beyond just the Q4 gifting, but it's actually like New Year, new me, hashtag, the hashtags. You gotta do that. So go look at your friends and see what they usually do on New Year and sell them stuff. So
what do you guys think about like testing new products? Because I guess I'm thinking as somebody who like dabbles in retail arb, right? It's like, okay, well, if you're finding good
Right.
like bulk deals or 90% off clearance, kind of out of season stuff or whatever, it seems like it would be a good time to pick up stuff like that. But are you like maybe things you haven't sold before, right? And of course you can always research it, but if it's like a new product to you and to your store, is that something that you're going to go ahead and list in Q4 and just see what happens? Or are you kind of going to try to strategically list it another time? Like, I don't know. What do you guys,
I think
how
Glenn's
do you
gonna
think
have
about,
a long answer on this.
yeah, how do you
I
think
do have
about,
a long answer
about
for this.
testing products?
I do have a long answer for this. I think it really depends on the items and if it follows and flows with your store. Then I would consider trying. If it doesn't, I would just agree with Kenny. You focus on what you know. 'Cause
If
at
it
this
was an
point-
iPad.
Yeah, if it's an iPad, right? If it's
Yeah.
mainstream.
Yeah. Let me give you an example.
Yeah, give me an example.
Okay, so
Rein me in
let's
over
say
here.
4 or 5 years. No, yeah, maybe like 5 years ago. During holiday time, it was like early. I forgot what. We're in Q4 time, but Starbucks cups are coming out and like they're selling out everywhere. And then I just happened to be sourcing, looking around. Starbucks near me. I go in. They have them, and I'm like, hey, they're selling out. They're moving. Let me buy all these. I can tell you right now, I still have a ton of these, and I've been trying to give some away for
Oh
holidays.
my
the
gosh,
last
can we
couple
give
of
one
years.
away on the podcast?
I think we should.
We
We should give away
should.
more than one.
What do they look like?
These are just kind of like the
Is it the
like
color
the hot
changing?
cups. No,
Yeah,
no,
no?
they're not.
No.
But they are holiday cups or themed.
Oh my gosh,
cups.
I want one, first of all.
They
But
would
would
also,
definitely send it to you.
Yeah,
we
Glenn's
need
putting
to,
it.
we should give
Huh?
one away at Christmas.
Yeah,
That'd
we
be
need
so
to give
fun.
one away just as a reminder to don't
Focus
jump
on
on
what
the
you
bandwagon.
know.
Don't
Yeah,
diversify too much.
Yeah, don't
Or-
go out
or-
of control.
Yeah, or like Glenn's just making it mature, waiting for it to become vintage.
Vintage. How many did you buy? I'm so
Oh.
He
curious.
bought everywhere. He was sourcing every day too, and he is everywhere.
Well, this one was like there was hot cups, there's like the iced or like the cold cups, and then there was like some of the pricier ones. So the pricier ones did sell quicker.
Okay.
Not that I made money on them, but they did sell.
But they're
and I was able
gone
to get
at
rid of those.
least. Good riddance.
But I think the ones I have left are like they're like a 5-pack of like hot cups
Oh.
for. So we used quite a bit of them because obviously they are nice, but
Yeah.
but for selling purposes, that's that's just a loss.
Yeah, be careful, right?
Yeah. So what would you have done differently other than just not
Not
buy
buy
them?
them.
Like, could you have researched more? How would you have known? Was there a way for you to know besides just trying it?
There's
Because
no
I
history.
admire the courage, right? Like, I'm just gonna go for it. I love that.
I think
You
know
had the
what?
audacity.
I think the trap was the comps look good, but I think I was also late to it because if the comps look good, how
People
long have
already
they
were
already
selling
been
it,
out
yeah.
and they've already been selling them? So
Yeah, maybe it was more saturated than you thought.
exactly, that's what it came down to.
Because
And
when
then,
they say limited, right, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, limited 1,000 cups per store.
yeah, right. But also keep
Yeah.
in mind that they're holiday themed. So when
Yeah.
holiday
Yeah.
ends,
Talk about seasonal, yeah.
yeah, you're really seasonal pushing
Man.
it there, and
Right.
not like I'm getting them on clearance either. So this
Right.
is a straight up retail.
Paying
arb.
retail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Full retail arb.
Yeah, so there we go. Don't.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Don't
being
do
the
that.
cautionary tale. I like that story.
Yeah.
I would go back even further to like
Uh-oh.
6 years ago or
Oh,
7
no.
years ago. Me and JC jump on the bandwagon with the what are those socks pack?
Socks?
Yeah, so you buy it. It comes in like a box. It's not. It was in Target, and
Oh.
you buy them, and there's a set of them, and
Yeah.
one was Harry Potter, Frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was like an advent calendar.
They're like the 12 socks
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, something like that, right? And it turned out good, mind you. This was 6 years ago, and we were driving everywhere, and we just stopped at every Target that was next to Ross or across Ross, because there's always a
They're
Target
usually,
across Ross.
yeah, they usually are, yeah.
That's their business plan. They try to get people to go one or the other. It worked out really well because we were selling them everywhere. And as a matter of fact, the first couple of items that we found, we actually bought a gift wrapping paper to make it holiday-ish. I still have the photo of it. We laid it on the parking lot of the Target parking lot because
my
we needed a
gosh.
backdrop. I said it would be so trashy if you used the asphalt as a background. There was no AI then,
Right.
So we actually bought a gift wrapper and laid it there, and we took photos of them there, and we carried that gift wrapper everywhere because there were like different kinds.
You're right. That's
We
so
tripled,
smart.
Yeah, we tripled our money. It was a really good, capital gaining,
Yeah,
fun
quick.
experience.
That does sound fun.
But the thing is, it was never like buying 10 at a time because there's cap limits. Like you can only, certain Targets will only buy you
Yeah.
one per person. Certain stores will only buy 3. So I guess that could be a good thing if it's limited per person. Not like, not like Glen's Starbucks cup. They probably made him buy everything. It's like, hey, you want more? We got more in the back, right? Like when you feel that, when people are just like letting you buy it, like it's a trap, right?
Yeah.
But when they're stopping you from buying, that's when you know it's hot.
Well,
So
not to perseverate on this too long, but I have one more question about testing new products.
okay.
Do you yes or no agree that like if you're going to test it, maybe throwing it up there in Q4 is a good idea because people have their wallets out and they're spending money because it's Q4?
I would agree.
Timing wise, yes. Well,
Still matters what
okay,
it is.
market, yes, but timing, when you could be focusing on something else that's really
Yeah.
doing well, is bad. So I would say,
Interesting. It's still opportunity cost.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what I
giving
would
up
say.
something that's already working
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
test something at the best time of the year to sell.
yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
So on that note too, before we move on, is let's talk about this in the next point. I think it ties into the next point.
Okay.
Sales and promotion strategy.
Move that
Right.
stuff out the door.
We talked about this is the best time of the year to sell. The buyer doesn't know that you're clearing this out. The buyer doesn't know that you've had this for a long time, unless you don't relist it, and they'll know that it's been sitting there for a year. Or, well, put it this way: if it's been sitting there for a long time, the buyer can't find it. Let's start with that. So, one of my tip on before we start promoting and creating any sales, I would highly recommend, if it's anything over 90 days, audit those listings and sell similar.
I concur.
Refresh them, and
I would say maybe with the caveat, if you have a ton of views or watchers, still
Don't,
audit.
right.
Still audit. Maybe
Still
your
audit,
price is
still
too
audit,
high
right.
or whatever, but don't sell similar. It's
yes,
still a
okay,
huge
I
history.
like that tip. That's a good caveat. if it has low views and no
Yeah.
watchers, and it's been there for a long time.
What's low views to you? Just curious.
Well, I would say like sub 50.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
agree too.
Right, sub 50, right? Because I've seen viewers of like 500
Oh, yeah.
in an item, right?
Views are
And
confounding
then,
to
especially if there's no watchers, right?
Yeah.
Like views is like they scroll through. So if they scroll through, that counts as a view, right? It's not a click, right? It's a click
Right.
and it's an impression. What I would highly suggest is there's definitely something wrong with that pricing, because there's a reason why they brushed through it. There's a reason they didn't even click through it. That's one. And the other one is your photos are just not clear, right? Like, or it's not attractive enough, or you're not standing out because they probably just clicked the person above you or below you.
Or some sort of error where you're not even they're not even shown the listing or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like, or like, for example, this happened to us early on. JC's not a sports fan. Glen actually DM'd me like, yo, this Pittsburgh jersey that you have says Pittsburgh Ducks or something like that instead of Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, it was literally the wrong type. I mean, it's the right city, but the wrong team name.
Yeah.
So
I've totally
those
done
are
that.
actually errors. At the same time, like, it's a $90 jersey. You want to sell it now, but nobody's seeing it. That's one of the quickest way to audit a listing, to actually correct yourself. And again, don't blame the algorithm. Always blame yourself. Audit the listing first and check market, because I've sat behind an eBay seller talking to an eBay growth advisor, and like complain. It's like, okay, let's talk about this item that you say nobody buys and nobody's watching, and come to find out it was $50 over everybody else's solds and current listing.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna buy that.
Right.
Nobody's even gonna try to give you an offer
At that point, your strategy better be, I'm just going to wait till I'm the only one available on the entire internet.
Yeah.
And in that case, you shouldn't be complaining about
Yeah,
not
exactly.
selling.
Yeah.
Because you ain't that yet. Yeah.
So those are my tip to start that sales and promotion strategy for Q4.
Yeah.
Let's go to Glenn's. Let's see his strategy.
I guess, like, for the promotion stuff. I mean,
on how you promote, or do you actually create a promotions, or do you raise your prices and run a fake sale?
Oh yeah. No, I don't think so. I think I'm actually gonna run real sales. I mean,
Real sales.
yeah,
Running
because the
a
thing
real
is
sale.
that we've always talked about is, like, this is your best time to sell, and especially like you said, for these older items, you have to get them out. I think for everything else, though, it goes hand in hand with keeping in track with the inventory. And when it starts moving, then yeah, you got to be prepared for all of that. So I would say running the same and similar promotions to, like, the Black Friday stuff, the Cyber Monday stuff,
Get on the trend. Funny. Get on the trend, right?
Yeah. What's kind of funny, though, is, like, you're probably going to be running that as your own promotion, and then you're also probably buying at the same time, because everyone else is also running store promotions throughout the internet, not even just eBay or Amazon. So you're almost like buying and selling at that same perfect timing of that. So I don't really do anything too crazy on that. I want to run real sales and not bump up any prices.
So when you say sales, right? So we go, let's say eBay, in a platform of eBay, you create an event or a sale event. Is this what strategy? I mean, I'm asking you to has worked. Do you guys just do a month-long sale, or you go by the weekend sale?
You know what? During the Q4 time, I do the month-long sale.
Oh,
I usually
really?
just do until like
till
the
February
nearest,
or something like that. Yeah.
I think I usually do till like maybe 21st, but also keeping in mind that, like, hey, no guarantee you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know, by Christmas or anything. But I usually do a longer. Yeah, like a longer one.
Because you don't want to think about, like, your sale ending or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Anna? What's your strategy in that? You like short term or long term?
Normally, I do the same thing. It's kind of like per month. Just because yeah, it's like it's simpler for me to keep track of. And until, you know, the last couple years of like major disruption from moving, like that's worked really well. And I haven't been like, man, I wish I had, you know, changed my strategy.
A specialty or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I think though, I'm pretty sure last year I did schedule out all of my sales.
You did. I remember that. You did.
Yeah, and I did like weekends, and but I think I only really did that in like October, November, and then by December I still did like, yeah, just because.
Wait, what do you think about this? I just thought about this.
Yeah.
Run a month-long sale, and you know how we can edit our sale? Maybe change the title every right.
Yeah.
For example, like it's holiday or Christmas.
Yeah.
So maybe by December you change that name to that, and then it's the
Yeah.
same sale, but you're just changing the header.
Yeah, I mean, and you can change. I think you can change maybe what inventory's in it. There's a couple other things you can edit after the fact. You can't edit everything, but
also check this out. We just promoted Liz on our story about her seller lab.
yes,
This might be the year that we're gonna do something different about store newsletter.
Yep.
Sending coupons and discounts to previous buyers or followers from your store.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tip. So if you guys don't know how to do that, make sure you watch Liz, because I'm probably gonna watch it again.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
be
that
able to
is
do
something
that.
that I probably should have been doing a while back.
Dude, because your store probably has massive followers, because you have the oldest store.
And it's awesome. Like they're automated, you know, you can set them up same way you can schedule like a sale.
It's like there's templates,
Yeah.
right? Like I saw
Yeah.
there's templates already, and you just create it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that is a good one, especially for the if you have like a same store that sells very similar items.
Yeah.
You know, I think you can definitely get those repeat buyers coming back after that.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and it's helpful because you can include information if you are running a certain sale, or if you're doing like a volume pricing where it's like kind of buy multiple quantities and get a better
That's
deal. Like
true.
for
Like
holiday,
buy
that might be really
5
good.
get 20. You can be creative on that because you already have their trust in a way, right? They follow you for a reason.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
even like with right, like we say this, right, because we do social media and stuff like that. A lot of people that watch our store are people that follow us on social media, but we have to think those people need gifts too for everybody. So I think if they see our newsletter, it's like, oh, I follow the Hustle Bee on IG. I saw Glen and Anna on somewhere on social media, and they get that because they just follow your store just to get some, you know, bolos or something like that. But maybe now it's trying to convert them. It's like, okay, like maybe you got some bolos of my store or some research, or you copied my description, or you stole my photos. Here's
Wow.
the
Getting crunchy over here.
here. Now you can buy from me. I look at Glen's. Glen has like 4,000 followers on his store.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, convert 5%. That's pretty good.
True.
That's a really low conversion, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if this is all your real followers, sheesh,
Or
you
they're
got
from the
4,000
channel.
people. Yeah.
So we don't know.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I will say, like, normally when I do a big, like, month-long sale, it's just, like, my whole inventory. It might have limits on it, like, the value of the inventory that's included in the sale or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do think, kind of harkening back to something we were talking about earlier, if you have, like, really deep quantities of something, or it's, like, really seasonal, it's, like, holiday mugs, right? Like, these, you want these for the holiday, and you're not going to want them again for 11 more months. Like, you could do like a special flash sale just on those
or be
type
more
of
aggressive
items.
for those, right?
Yeah,
Just
so
like,
that could be a way to kind of like strategically highlight certain parts of your inventory.
I like that. I like
to
that.
move it right now.
Yeah, we just learned something today. We just learned something.
I learn something every day. I don't know about you.
I don't know. I don't know about you.
Oh, I don't know about every day. I'm sure.
I don't know about everybody else, but
All right, so I think that was pretty good strategy. Make sure you guys are on top of your sales, promotion, markdowns, and then we added there to actual refresh your listings,
yeah.
and also try to use all the tools that eBay provides already, because it's already part of our store subscription. Use those newsletter.
I want to say one more thing about that.
Yeah.
Just for anybody who's thinking, oh my gosh, keeping track of all these different sales is like a whole thing. Try scheduling them for the whole quarter. Like, that was the one thing I loved about doing that, because you can always go in and adjust them. Or if you're no, I want it to be a higher percentage off or
There's
lower.
no cooldown, right? There's no there's no lockdown on those things.
No, like you can go and change it at any point. But like if you're thinking that's another thing that's going to take up my bandwidth during a busy Q4, just schedule it all out now. It'll take you like 20 minutes to do the whole rest of the year. And then you have something going on by default that will help move your stuff better. So I don't know if someone listening hasn't tried that and it's kind of like overwhelming to think about trying to keep track of that every, week to week as you go, like then don't do it that way. Then schedule it ahead because you can. It's great.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then we hop on to our last checklist.
Yeah.
Forecasting and planning for demand.
Yeah, so some of this I feel like kind of goes into
same thing as well.
Yeah, like looking at what's going to sell well in Q4, but I think the kind of underdogs of this area are, more sales means more returns. Hopefully not, but
no.
But like
adjust expectation. That's how you
adjust your expectations accordingly. Also, though, adjust your return policy now, right?
So what do you do?
Make sure it is what you want it to be. I use business policies.
I use no returns.
Yeah. Well, you might see better conversion if you don't do no returns, but because people that's a trust
returns.
thing for people, right?
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So I might try something out this Q4. For everything that goes through authenticity guarantee, free returns. Well, they have to pay for return, but I'll accept return.
Yeah.
That way, AG is protecting
you won't
me.
Not accept it. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, that's true.
And everything else? Everything else, no returns?
No returns.
90-day return policy.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Like, we did our return percentages. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's sub 5%, we're golden.
Yeah, exactly. But think about that. Like, whatever that percentage is of your returns, if your volume is triple in Q4, then your returns are going to be triple. Not triple percentage, but triple amount.
But even doubling the percentage, I'll be fine with that. Because
Yeah.
people make mistakes.
That's true. And, like, especially for things that have to fit on someone's body in any way, shape, or form, like, it just may not be a good fit, literally. So, I mean, I have a pretty low incidence of returns, too. I don't mind it. I did, for a while, offer free returns across the board just to see if it would help my sales, and I don't feel like it made that much of a difference.
I don't think it does.
So that's kind of the same thing I experienced
Buyer pays
with
return, right?
shipping too. So yeah, now it's like you can totally return it for any reason, but unless it's like I really made a mistake or it's actually item not as described for some reason, like you're paying for the return. Like this was just you trying this on, then you're paying to send it back to me.
Yeah.
And you're not getting refunded the original shipping when I get it back. So, but I feel like that's reasonable.
I like that. I like that. I think as a tip, even me, I'm trying this for holiday season, for Q4, try accepting returns on your listings and see it might rank better. And also look at your return rate, because I just look at mine and it's 1.58.
Yeah.
So
you can
even if it doubles, it's still sub 5%.
Right.
I'll take that. And if it's gonna help me increase 10% in sales, I'll sacrifice 2.5% return.
Yeah.
You just have to prepare your expectations, Ken. You can't get your feelings hurt when you get more returns.
No. It's Q4, I can't get hurt in Q4. We'll talk about it next year.
Right.
I can't. I won't.
I can't. Yeah.
How do you handle returns, Glenn? Like, I don't think I can't pull it right off the top of my head. Like, I don't know.
So
it just makes him keep them.
No, I wish.
Do you have a returns bonfire every month of all the things that got returned?
So lately, let me give you one example again. Sorry. So I did sell Steelers. I sold a Steelers jersey, and this guy wasn't happy with one of the sleeve, like a stripe on the sleeve.
Uh-huh.
it just had like a little small
Misprint.
It wasn't even like a miss. It was like it was just missing like a little. I don't know what it. Very tiny.
Is it a snag?
I guess.
Just like a factory flaw.
Yeah, like a factory flaw.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't make this jersey in hand, even though I have had that question before.
Did you personally?
Yeah, like
sew
is this a
jersey?
custom jersey that you made? And I'm like, what? It has retail Nike tags. I'm not running my own shop here. And so this guy was like, oh, I don't like it. We're going to return it. And so he sent it back. And for me, I was either, well, some buyers are picky. If it's not a big deal, of course, relist it, do whatever. If it is kind of a big deal, and I'm like, you know what? Another buyer is probably not going to like this or be picky about it, then I just let it fly and whatnot and move on. Because I'm not going to be dealing with that again.
Sell it on whatnot. That's the thing. Sell your
Interest.
returns or whatnot. Then you don't have
return.
returns.
Yeah.
Honestly, though,
exactly.
how many people are selling pallets of stuff? Selling out of pallets that are returns.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
yeah, I'm sure most of it is, right?
And there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with selling returns and whatnot. It's only a problem when you're not disclosing what kind of errors, if there's any
issues.
errors.
Yeah.
Right.
This is brand new, I swear. All right, guys, 30 seconds. Here we go. It's like, yeah, there's a flaw there. I see it.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're like, it's tiny, but it's there.
It's there.
So another part of this, like forecasting for demand, I think about the demand on my time, right? Of like processing more stuff, hopefully more sales, probably some more returns, like, but the other thing is like, what is your handling time looking like when there's this much more demand? And also, how are you handling, like shipping speeds, like the services that you're choosing? Like, do you guys do expedited shipping during Q4 that you don't normally do for like an upsell? Do you upsell it, or do you just offer it? Like,
I actually
to be competitive?
added
How do you
all
do
my
that?
listing. I added all my listing and offer 2-day and overnight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because I don't give them the discount,
Yeah.
I actually make more money doing that.
Yeah.
But one of the tip that I heard from other people is they actually do they charge handling fee for overnights and stuff like that, right? For packing, actually that's one of the things that I might do. I'm probably gonna add, because like there are times that I already drop it off at noon.
Yeah.
Usually,
and you're like,
during,
now I gotta
and
interrupt
then, like,
my day to go ship.
yeah, and then if they want it overnighted, I actually have until 7 to do that. So that's another trip. So I guess one of the tips, if you guys are offering 2-day any air services, call your local FedEx or UPS and ask them what's the latest time that you
To
can
drop
drop
off.
off stuff, because air is way later than ground. For me, it's 8 p.m. on FedEx and 7 p.m. on UPS. So that actually gives you a lot of lead time if somebody wants, like if you're communicating to somebody during the day and they actually buy it at 4, right?
Yeah.
And then you've already set the price. Okay, I'll do this, or they already had it on their cart. I think that's one of the things that, plan ahead of time. Call your local drop-off stations, and I guess it's part of planning for Q4.
Yeah.
Setting your expectation that you can offer it.
That's why it's like under planning for demand too. But like, I don't offer expedited shipping very often, so I don't remember off the top of my head, but you can decide what your cutoff time is where people can even choose that service, right? So you would make that, you would set that in accordance with what your drop-off cutoffs
to the
are.
listing, yeah. So you could do like at 4, and then your latest at
3
FedEx
hours.
is like 7 or 9, right? Yeah.
To pack it and get it there. Okay.
Yeah. And let me see. The returns, we talked about that. Oh, the shipping. I guess the other thing too is just to let them know that there's no guarantee no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. You can't control the carrier.
I know.
Right.
Talk about setting expectations.
Right. I set the expectation
Yeah.
for your customers, right? And I think, over time it hasn't been that bad already, because I feel like the carriers have been better year after year, unless there's like a massive delay. But I've always, I guess, create that template already, right? Please check on the tracking. I dropped it off already. Check the tracking because like there's gonna be a lot of inquiries. I think a lot of that too because of the demand. Make sure to actually, if you're still listing, or if you are in the phase of trying to relist and audit some listings, as far as there's gonna be a lot more demand, there's gonna be a lot more question. One of the things that we actually have done with our jackets, if we included measurements. I know it's kind of like for brand new sellers that sell only Nike or like name brands, you should know your size. But actually, as of
Sometimes
recent,
things are cut differently.
there's way more fit. There's
Yeah.
loose, there's crop, there's oversize, there's slim. So I was like, there's way more fits than what it
Yeah.
was before. Before it was only like regular fit and slim fit. Now there's so many more fit. So there's drop shoulder now. There's longer sleeves.
Yeah.
There's streetwear cut. So because of there's gonna be higher demands, make sure to include more details in your listing. That way you could just screenshot them and send them if they don't see it.
And they won't see it.
And they
a
won't.
lot
They
of
won't.
the time.
Just screenshot it. Yeah.
It's okay though. It's great to already have that information there, so you
Yeah.
can give good customer service based on the work you already did.
Yeah. And do it smiling.
Yes.
And
right. Is it still a smile if it's upside down? No.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Well.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of smiling, I think thus concludes our checklist. Can I run you guys through this checklist and tell me if there's anything missing? Okay.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
All right. So here's our super tactical Q4 checklist right here out the gate, beginning of Q4. Number 1, review your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Restock your shipping supplies.
Got it.
Refresh your workspace, and that could be your inventory setup or your shipping station or both. Take a look at the current trends. Look for good sourcing deals, and I'm thinking bulk buys, right? And that seasonal stuff that's huge percentage off of retail. Plan your sales or promotions and schedule them. Try newsletters per our
like
good
that.
friend
I like
Liz
that.
O'Kane at Colorado Reworn. And optimize your listings, right? Go and audit them, like adjust the prices as needed, adjust other information if it needs some zhuzhing. And then also make your return policy really clear and really obvious, and then set up expedited shipping as an upsell, whether that's with, like Ken said, not passing through your discount to the buyer and or adding a handling fee for the expedited like overnight type of service.
I like that. There's 10.
Oh.
There's 10 checklist
Oh, perfect.
that you guys have to run through for Q4. I think that's very doable.
Very
Right,
doable.
Glenn?
Not just doable. It's a need. It's a must.
It's a must.
You
I
can
like
and you
that.
will.
You can
You
and you
can
will.
and you will.
For a successful Q4.
Exactly. But before we end this podcast, guys, just want to remind everybody, make sure to follow our sponsors and partners in this podcast. Number 1 will be eBay. Make sure you follow them for eBay for sellers. Stay tuned for all the updates and all the announcement that they have. They will post it there. We will also be reposting it on our Instagram at Seller Club Podcast. And also, Q4 is here. End of the year is here. Make sure you have your books straight, and Seller Ledger will help you do that. Seller Ledger is a pretty cool software that we have been using, and it's actually helping us a lot. And we actually have an episode with them coming up, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow them on Instagram as well, Seller Ledger. Click on the link on the show notes. It is free to try them. The integration is really smart, and all their APIs are really cool. So
Yes.
you literally don't have to do anything. Just put in your bank or your credit card, and then tie in your eBay as well. And on the other platforms can be tied into, and there are other ways to upload all the stuff.
Yeah, it's super simple. I just added in all of my mileage for the year the other day.
There
I
you
hadn't
go.
really bothered to do that yet.
Yeah.
It's great, you guys. Like, I'm getting way more money back on my mileage than I expected. So the
There you
rate
go.
this year for that is pretty good.
Yep. So there you have it. And then make sure to keep an eye out on our Instagram post on the 15th. The 15th of this month, October, we are announcing a pretty cool giveaway. and it's gonna be in partnership with one of our sponsors. So thank you all. We will see you on the next episode. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.